Now, have any of you guys ever seen one of these bad things for real? We burned almost every physical book in the country. So by the time you guys grow up, there won't be one book left. Burn it.
Your vitals have been off recently.
Did firemen used to put out fires?
That's a classic lie. Have you used your drops today?
I want to know why we burn.
We are not born equal. We must be made equal by the fire. And then we can be happy.
I got things inside my head that don't make sense. Dreams that I can't explain.
Read before the men come back. Do you want to know what's inside these books? Insanity.
They're lying to you.
What aren't you telling me?
You never do anything. You're just like Beatty.
I'm not like Beatty.
We have an important task for you.
If anybody sees me, I'm dead.
The danger is real and immediate. We need to get ahead of it.
What if I tell these people what you do?
Words
Are a terror, son, I know. Knowledge is a dangerous thing.
Hi people, today we're going to talk about paper, firemen, grenadiers, and what did ancient firemen did in those buried windows, how Brandenburg gates connected to fire boats, and what's up with brandmauers, those firewalls that left from the 19th century. First we're going to talk about Ray Bradbury in Fahrenheit 451. The novel tells us about some special team, special force firemen that were actually destroying books and all this evidence of ancient knowledge. So this is probably the reason why we don't know anything else except that edited history that they tell us. So the top fireman was called Brandmeister, and it's an ancient 19th century word which starts with brand. So let's start with brand. What is actually brand? Brand is the border between the actual product or the thing that you buy, or the thing that you use, or the thing that you look at, and the actual thing. So it's just the border, and you look at this brand and you think about the product and imagine what it's gonna be. But actually it's just a name, it's just a cover or the gate between you and the product, right? It's just like the Brandenburg gate in Berlin. You know, I've told about Berlin plenty much times. It's consists of bear and lin, so it's bear place, bear town. But whatever, it has Brandenburg gates and they're very famous. Tourists like them and often picture in front of them. But who knows that Berlin was actually a star fort, and so Brandenburg Gate is the entrance to the star fort. Also we have this Brandenburg Gate in Kaliningrad or Königsberg, which is now a Russian town and was actually a Prussian town, Eastern Prussia town. But whatever. So what leads branding to 451 is still a good deal, because we have this book and it has 451, and literally brand, it's just a brandmauer. Brandmauer is a firewall, and the firewall is what we know in our computer, and a brandmauer is an ancient walls that constructed between those houses to protect them from fire. They're supposed to be like that, but actually sometimes what they are is not what they tell us. Like for example, this wall is literally older than the house, so probably it can be a wall from the previous house, pre-flood house. So brandmauer equals brand equals protection equals fire protection, and leads us to a firewall, and the firewall, as I've said before, is a program that can also protect our computer from different activities that are unwanted and so prohibited or whatever. But who is the one who knows what's prohibited? Who is the one who knows what's unwanted? It's Brandmeisters were the heads of the fireman crew, and they're supposed to be like the bosses and stuff like this. And we have a Brandmeister also in the 451, and it's a it's a picture of the crew in 19th century, and it looks like it very much was very professional. But where they have these heads from, those emblems that they have on their heads. Look at this little bombs with the fire coming out of them. So it's like a bomb or grenade. So it leads us to another kind of troops which were called Grenadier. These are their emblems, and you can see the same thing. So probably dismissed Grenadiers became so-called fire crew, and they look pretty much like this. They threw grenades and they started fire, and maybe they were the same as what we see in 451, just literally the same, you know. Yeah, let's imagine like they really were dismissed, and this whole brigade of Grenadiers or whatever started to, you know, work for those who were parasites, or maybe something like a brand. Brand is also a door in the yacht, and it closes it from the water, so water won't be flowing inside. And brand also is a ship which was supposed to be attacking a bigger ship for just, you know, burning it and blowing it and stuff like this. So it's not just the Brandmeister thing, it's not just the fireman, it's not just the thing, it's just, you know, the meaning of this word. Brandmeister, brand wall, and Brandmauer, firewall, whatever. So those firemen were actually doing exactly the same. That's what Ray Bradbury says in his novel. They were erasing the evidence of the previous knowledge, previous civilizations, previous science, books and stuff like this. And also what we see here is they trying to do something down there in the first floor of this buried building. Look there. What are they doing? They're not doing any fire managing thing. They're not, you know, came here because of fire. They're doing something to erase something. And if we watch this movie, if we read this book, we can understand what are they doing there. They often did the same in this novel, because actually this novel represents not the future, it represents the past. It represents how they the technology of them doing it to us, how they, you know, proceed, how they implement this thing that nobody can remember anything. How do they enforce people to burn the books? How do they enforce people to erase the knowledge and start new life from 0 point, you know? So if we look at those old buildings and see the Brandmauer or firewalls, it's also a message to us. It's also reminding us of the previous civilization. And the Brandmeisters were actually those who were erasing this thing. And now they call the fireman crew, and actually, you know, firemen were seen in many controversial activities like 911, and we're gonna talk about this maybe in the future videos, what 911 represents, because it's tightly connected to what I'm gonna be talking today. Even in Russia we have 112 for this, 911 thing that you have in America. And so Fahrenheit 451 is supposed to be the temperature of burning the paper, but actually paper burns at not this temperature. It burns at 800 degrees of Fahrenheit. So if it's not Fahrenheit, it's gonna be Celsius. Yes, we look at the Celsius and we see that paper burns exactly at 450 Celsius degrees, So we have like 451, which is very close. So let's go and decrypt Celsius. So now we know it's not Fahrenheit 451, it's Celsius. So if Celsius, let's translate it from Russian to English, and we see Celsius. Okay, if we try to decode it and say like first cell, it's gonna be purpose, and C is gonna be science. Science is science. Let's write it. Science. Zion. So if we write Zion in Russian, we write Zion. And Zion is, of course, what? It's Zionists. It's just all the same thing. So Celsius means purpose, Zion. Okay? Purpose of Zion, or purpose is Zion, if we turn it another way. Zion, go. Okay?